and I like it. I mean, I think he was having the same. No.
Question. Answer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tell me, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges you have faced sitting on that, as far as events or activities that were going on?
One of the biggest,
Most challenging.
most challenging? I haven't found it particularly challenging. I found it sort of interesting to hear what projects are about. And again, for the meeting, the stuff that I said, in the water, it's an entirely non-controversial project. Approvals for things that made sense, and I guess what I find challenging about it sometimes is I'm a lawyer, but I don't do land use law, and so the issues are somewhat foreign to me, and to make certain that I understand what our role is, and either how much expansive discretion we have or how little discretion we have is important to make the decision. I haven't found it as anything especially challenging. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of one issue. And we're pretty. We operate the city planning commission seeks to operate on consensus. We have discussion, and there's been the meetings I sat on. There's been no disputes. Decisions that we made are pretty clear.
Consensus, you say, but that consensus has to be consistent with the piece of the charter or ordinances, various ordinances, right?
The consensus, yeah, usually because our obligations and our decision making is pretty clearly defined. So to the extent that there might be recommendations that people are making, examine ordinances that are in front of the board of aldermen that recommended on all the people recommendations on them. And there's been a couple of things where people might have an idea, something to add to the ordinance, and that's the kind of thing where I said you can listen to one another. Recommendations are usually reached by consensus.
Thank you very much.
Were you in on the meeting with American Waste?
Which
American Waste and
the
Recycling?
waste, no, that was like fairly controversial. Oh, if you ask me, the only controversial one I did on was the Air Force. There were a lot of people from the neighborhood who were very concerned about what was going on. Again, but no, I was not on the waste. I'm moving my offices at the moment. Those were in recent weeks, and my presence wasn't necessary. And if I wanted to be there, I couldn't have been there.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Okay.
Chita, Cindy Garcia, is she here? Come on up.
Chairwoman.
Absolutely. Not a problem. You can pick up the microphone, tell us your name and address for the record, if you will to Joel, I mean, not Joel. Or, so, and so your name and address for the record?
My name is Sheila Garcia, and I am 45 having neighborhood is me.
And when you're talking, you can move your mouth, so you can hear me better.
Laura on 54 Cleveland Road.
Would you mind if I call you Cindy?
Yeah.
Cindy, you're being appointed to the Environmental Advisory Council as an alternate member. And as an alternate member, I do know that a lot of the Environmental Council actually sits in on the number of the meetings, just so that they can get an idea of what's going on in a meeting. And we'll be able to, at some point, be a regular member. So what are your thoughts on that? And what would you bring to the table?
Well, for starters, I've been part of the Environmental Advisory Committee, council, I should say. I've been attending the meetings for the past couple of years now. We have to say that's how that more common. And it started out as an interest of environmental issues and concerns on a more local level. I have a background in environmental studies for college on academic portion that I was going to do more grassroots community related work post college. So now that I've been living in graduate 24 years ago, I believe that I should bring to the table not just my academic knowledge, but also historical institutional knowledge that is unique more or less to the Fairhaven and Anderson, which is not well represented in the council as of right now.
Thank you. And I am very happy to see younger people get involved, and I am very pleased because it's an issue that a lot of us don't like to talk about, but it's an issue that's necessary at this time in our life. So I thank you for wanting to do that. Any questions from the committee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, your resume mentioned a lot about working at Aldermanic, common ground, initiatives, even what I want to ask family and this is sort of piggyback off of Madam Chair's question. But what do you believe those experiences have contributed to your understanding of environmental issues, and how do you think that will help you maneuver through the environmental advisory council and the topics that come up?
Absolutely. I would say for starters would be the cultural language barriers that exist not just in the environmental council, but really even beyond. Oftentimes when we talk about these issues, it's very from English based, and there are obviously a lot of concerns that come from the Spanish speaking community that they currently don't have the trust or the knowledge to get involved on a more political democratic basis. And so essentially I would fill in that bridge, but I don't feel so responsible, but rather more or less a representative of that, especially when most Spanish speaking people do tend to work very long shifts during the day, they're very tired, they have large families or taking care of other families as well. And so I have the privilege to have the time and knowledge and just the cultural access to be able to bring that to the table. In addition, working in all the variety of places have allowed me to get a more holistic sense of what's going on in real time. Because oftentimes I feel that with older folks, no offense taken, I say that there are particular issues that are either unique to your generation or you have more of a passion about what I do that with others in cases like myself. We may have other things that may deviate a little bit, or we just have a perspective and want to bring that into the conversation. And so I think it's really important to be able to do that.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Alder Hamilton.
Good evening, ma'am. I did read your resume, very impressive. So, how do you think English, Spanish, I know, there's a language barrier, but, if you're out there in the field, do you detect like, okay, whether you're Spanish, Negro, whatever nationality, white, black, everybody care about the environment and want to see and work towards keeping our environment better? Have you, I mean, give me your thoughts. What have you experienced with it?
First, and I believe a primary concern, or at least an interest in shooting families, is the accessibility to clean and safe spaces. Fairhaven is often riddled as crime infested, just a dumpster, just all these very, very stereotypes. But in reality, everyone's trying to live their own version of what their community is. Or just living, just not just to survive, but generally live with quality. And I think the struggle really comes down to having the access to resources and also having that authority over the space that they're living in. And so Fairhaven does have a very big problem with slumlords and being very renters oriented. So that takes away from that decision-making power that they want, not just their homes, but maybe their neighborhood. And working through the nonprofits, specifically BoA, the number one problem is the lack of parks, lack of green spaces, and the low tree canopy rate, which all contribute to the negative stereotypes that people outside this community tend to believe and think. And so often I try to collaborate with nonprofits, whether it's freelance work or serving as a board member. I try to give my own personal experience, but also highlight things that have probably not been focused as a long-term project, because it's not just about planting trees or planting grass time. You truly want others to feel like they're part of this long-term project.
Yes, invested in.
Yes.
Working together to keep our whole environment.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much for your answer. Thank you.
Do you have a question? Yes. Alderman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you tell me, do you have an idea of how you spoke mainly about the Fairhaven community? That's fun. How do you feel that you could get the community, the Hispanic community in Fairhaven, more interested and involved in the environment and participate in improving?
My motto, wherever I work, volunteer, to be part of, is always meeting people where they are. And they oftentimes become the savior complex. You must do this, you must fix this. And that's a very wrong approach to take. And through my years of experience in nonprofits and just volunteer partners, I've noticed that when we give an ear to listen, when we are able to just have a conversation rather than just being, this is mine, we're just gonna separate in our own bubble. We really want to collectively try to do something. Whether it's like, for instance, with litter, if we want to fix that, we don't want to say, well, we clean up faster, I clean up faster. You know, what is the purpose of cleaning up? Is it for safety? Is it for cleanliness? We want to understand what the purpose and connection we are into the spaces, and that's really important to me, but also to the community as well.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, just one last question. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think for many of us, the major motivator behind trying to address environmental issues is thinking about the next generation, thinking about our youth. And so I was just curious, how do you think, addressing environmental issues takes a lot of different, institutions, people. So how do you think the Environmental Advisory Council, city, and other institutions should be instilling some of those values of environmental protection and advocacy into not just our youth, but into our city folks, both young, old, black, brown, and others.
So from what I understand, the question is, how do we get them to connect with the environment? Okay. I would say in the sense, like, what do they want to get out of it? Either as an instant gratification or long term. I think this is where you'll be able to get those diverse answers from people. I think oftentimes we tend to generalize or just conglomerate everything as it's just like green, sustainability. And some of these words may sound foreign to people. either never heard of it or it's just a new vocabulary in general. And we don't want to intimidate people with starting language. That only creates more of a gap between these people. And, well, for instance, speaking from my own family, my mom's biggest concern has always been just trees and the biodiversity. She might not have the actual scientific terms of these, but she recognizes them and have lived in the community for 30 years. She has seen how the neighborhood we resided has quite, the city is not as invested as it used to be. And so she has always been curious how she can really put her voice into action. And that's what we truly want is that action portion. Because we can spend all night brainstorming and talking about we need to walk the walk. And that's a really important part when we want to get people to be involved. What can they do realistically on a small scope of time? Because I think at the same time, people think they need to make these giant changes to feel valid or feel that there's proof of change, but it's really the gradual part that we need to be transparent about and we can move forward with that.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you, Marge.
Yes, thank you. And one of the things that I agree with everything that you said, we need to put it into the community, we need to be on a grassroots level with that, so that they understand. I remember I used to pack my trash off, paper, garbage, all in one, until the city of New Haven had the Parks Department come out, or Public Works, and explain what goes into recycling, what you can do, and composting. They've started to do that now too. So unless we have people that can go out and explain it to people, they're not gonna know. I have more recycling than I do actual garbage. It's unbelievable. And the big toter is like too full. And so I appreciate that information because to me it opened my eyes as to what I needed to do to make a change. But unless people are aware of it, they just don't know. Or sometimes they know, they just choose not to do it. But at least if you're there and explaining it, and that's what I keep telling us in the departments, they need to start doing that. And they need to start going into management teams and explaining this process. So an avenue for you, being selected would be go to the management team and, have some flyers, maybe in Spanish, so that a lot of them are Spanish speaking, and in English, so that people can understand what goes into our environment that we're trying to clean up. And so maybe it's not at the local level, but they are there at the meetings. And so it would be probably beneficial. I'm just doing that as a suggestion. And I know that a lot of the times people attend meetings and want to be informed. And, I find valuable information when I go to a meeting and someone's talking about a nonprofit I've never heard of, or a project that the city has undertaken that I may not have heard of. We're all this, but we don't know what every city department is doing all the time. And so that's important to us to know as residents too, because we are residents of the city. So we'd like to know what everyone is doing all the time. And I appreciate that information. So, and Laura, is there anything that you would like to add?
So you should know that SOTI first put her application in a year ago, March. It has taken us this long to get to this point. So thank you to SOTI for persevering, and thank you to all of you for being here. And I don't know if the rest of you were being glad to attention to what you said. I bet you were. And she's ready to run for mayor. I'm voting for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Iris Kapinski. Thank you, movement address for the record, please.
I was in this station for 06515.
If you need to remove the mask to speak, because it's hard to hear, so we just want to make sure that your testimony. Just don't touch any button. No.
Okay.
Say it again.
Oh, sorry, Iris Kaminsky, 245 McKinley Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut, 06515.
Thank you. And you're also joined by the chair of the commission, the Environmental Advisory Council Commission, Laura. State your name and address for the record. Laura Khan, 54 Cleveland Road. Thank you. And Iris, you're being reappointed. I think your attendance was pretty excellent, so you didn't really need to be here, but we're glad you are.
Thank you.
I think Iris is being promoted from alternate to regular member. Okay, yes, that is correct. You're absolutely correct. So you are being appointed to regular member, so your involvement will be much greater now. And I'm sure you've already been attending all of the meetings.
So just for clarity, the Environmental Advisory Council considers members and alternates all as members because we make it into the press a lot on issues more than 24 times during the pandemic. So we all have to be informed and on the same page about issues. So there's not really any room for people not to attend meetings or to read the documents or to be up on things.
Right, and that's what I agree, that's what I understood, that you were already attending those meetings, so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got from that. So, any questions from the committee?
No.
But we thank you for being here this evening, for presenting yourself.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Alderman.
Being a regular member now, schedule change, how does that affect you? Are you gonna be adding to your schedule being a regular member, or does it not?
No, it's, I've attended, I think, 2 years prior to me being an alternate member. In 5 years following this committee, and on top of that, I'm following committees at the state level that are related to water issues with the Water Planning Council. So I'm following them. I recently went to a workshop with Deep, learning about cities of risk of climate change and how to prepare and plan. I have a lot to contribute. So thank
Sounds
you.
like it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate your attending this evening, and Laura, as always, you're welcome.
So just so you know, Iris, who has a PhD in water matters,
Okay,
adds things to our council that we, the rest of us, can't possibly fathom. I could read all the documents or go to the meetings Iris goes to, and I still wouldn't understand the information unless someone explains it to me. We have Iris to help us with that.
That's wonderful.
One of the things we have managed to do with Iris's help is meet with the Regional Water Authority. We informed them that Yale was using more than 200,000 gallons per day, or up to 200,000 gallons of water per day to water their golf course. And they came back to us and said that, yeah, they've been doing it for 20 years and they get cheaper water than we do. So you've all been subsidizing them. So have we. We had them back early this year and the Regional Water Authority, and they told us that Yale had shut the water pipe off. So Iris has a big,
Wow.
yeah. She's,
That's great.
yeah.
Saves us money.
Get them to clean up their water.
Yes, it's full of pesticides.
Yes, but this is just last comment. The reason I joined Laura is when I moved to New Haven 9 years ago, I was concerned that my neighbors are using pesticides without real justification. And Adam Marchand referred me to Laura, and thank you, Laura, for doing this work. We're still, we're fighting big corporations. And as mentioned earlier, it's tough to explain to your neighbors why they should not use pesticides, especially when you have little kids, you have pets. So that's why I'm doing for.
Yes.
The nation is very fortunate to have it.
Yes, absolutely. All of you do your, yeoman's task.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
After having,
He's not here. No. I know exactly. No, he's not in the room.
okay, Joy Gary. Steve Brisky. Isaiah Miranda didn't need to attend, so he's not here. Laura Pittman, is she here? Come on, up, Laura, yeah. Lauren, I apologize. Lauren. Oh, state your name and address for the record, please.
Lauren Pittman, 986 Woodland Avenue.
Lauren, you are a reappointment to the Commission on Youth.
A reappointment, if I may, but when I was appointed, right after that was the pandemic. So I wasn't. I was appointed, but
You did
no
not.
meetings, yeah.
Okay. So do we actually, Misty, do we actually have any records that they met? They did not meet 2 years.
That's what I've been advised.
advised.
That's what I've been advised today, that they have not met since COVID. And they're trying to get it scheduled now, is my understanding.
Okay, so, but technically, you're appointed through the charter. We have to take it as an appointment and now you're being reappointed. Okay. And, yes. And because we don't have any committee minutes and records of attendance, I want to make it known that the Commission on Youth has always been very bad at taking minutes or attendance. They never submitted them. And so this is not something new. This is something that when I first started, they weren't doing. And I asked the chair to make sure that they did it. And I don't believe they were doing it at all this whole time. And hopefully that changes. I hope it does, because we can't reappoint people or appoint people to a committee that is not taking minutes and is not taking attendance. Because we have no way of knowing if you've attended the number of meetings required that you're supposed to be attending. To say like there's 20 meetings and you only attended 10, we would want you to come in for reappointment and ask you why you didn't attend. Was it because of an illness? Was it time schedule? Was it the time of the meeting? You know what I'm saying? To figure out what the issue was and to probably talk to the chair to ensure that maybe the time change would be more appropriate. So we ask these questions because we need to know what the answer is. And so you're the first appointment to the reappointment to the Commission on Youth. So, and I'm sorry, I feel like you're getting front of the information, but just to make it known to the chair of the committee, and I don't know who the chair is. Because honestly, huh? No one does? I'm not sure.
It says Gwendolyn W. Williams, right here.
I believe it was, I think, it might be someone, yeah, I think it would be changed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
That's
so,
the city contact, and I don't know who the chair is.
all right, so in our discussion, we'll have to make recommendations to recommendations, to further appointments to the committee. We value our youth. And so part of the Board of Alder's commitment to the city of New Haven is engaging our youth. And we took a commitment and a vow to ensure that that happens. I know that the youth department is doing a great job, but the committee, who's in charge of the commission, is not doing theirs. And so I need to bridge the gap to find out what's going on. And that's my only opinion. And I've been dealing with this for 20 years with the youth commission. So it is unfortunate because I believe that the youth department and they do a great job. Colleagues have expressed they do the yeoman's task each and every day. During COVID, they were out there with you. So we know that they do what they're supposed to do, but the commission should also be meeting, and they could have met by Zoom and or however method they could have met to engage the members and find out what the director of that department is doing and how they can help or engage or whatever the case may be. Because your task as a member of the commission is to provide guidance to the youth department to help them in any way that you can. So that's my 2 cents. My colleagues for any questions. Yes, okay.
Thank you, Chair Santa. Lauren, so since the appointment 2020, has the commission ever gotten together? Do you know who the members are? Did you even get a reach out saying, hey, Lauren, you've been appointed to the youth commission? I'm speaking back 2020, and okay, here's any information as to what we do, how we do things, plan of action going forward, nothing. Have you heard anything?
No plan of action, I said, maybe an email or two. Only thing I did receive was the letter to say that I was appointed, but that was it. I am in communication with Tommy Bill. She's my mentor, so I was having conversations with her for anyone actually on board.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? It's unfortunate that an important committee for you is not meeting. The commission is not meeting, and I apologize on behalf of the Board of Alders that we appointed you and you never met. So you never got to feel like you were part of a committee that was working towards a common goal. And you didn't get that experience, so that I apologize. Alder Rodriguez, did you want to add something?
I mean, you may want to be proactive and reach out to the mayor's office. Because since they're the ones that appoint for the commission, that they then investigate final meetings in a time where it's so needed.
Well, I
Okay,
did have a conversation with the mayor, and he usually get back to me. So I'm not sure. Matter of fact, that was at the end of Mayor Trump's home park, and then that's when Mayor Trump came in. So him and I had the conversation, but it also happened before his term. So I had a conversation with him, but
The staff person is there, so reach out to her,
okay.
and maybe something could happen. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for that. Any further questions? I'm sorry about, like I said, we apologize for this committee that wasn't engaging you in quite and that, because normally we wouldn't reappoint you. And that's why we were asked to come in, because we got no minutes, no, attendance records. So we had no idea, and I'm glad you came before us to explain the reason. And so, thank you.
We can, to the chair, when the appointment comes before the general board of alders, we may be able to at least note the record to indicate that during the period of 2021, the board of alders did not meet. So that it could be in record, but I mean,
Yeah, you
the
can
commission did not meet, so that it could be noted, so that if after the necessary term, you still want to be considered, that may be then an issue then.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your coming in this evening.
Here's the last one out.
Okay, come on up, Laura.
Why are you here, Laura?
You don't have to.
No, sir.
You don't have to be here. I have 100% attendance.
Well, that's what I want to talk about, that and a few other.
Okay. What's your name and address for the record?
Laura Khan, 54 Cleveland Road. So, I just want to tell you about some of the issues boards and commissions have had meeting during the pandemic, because I've attended my meetings, which I schedule and have Don Henning set up our Zoom sessions for, and I send out the meeting notices, and you can't even take attendance on a piece of paper as you could when boards and commissions met. So even taking attendance while you're running a meeting is well nigh impossible, because people come and go, they don't stay. I'm not explaining this just for my board, I'm just telling you this about boards and commissions in general, in case you're trying to figure out why people may not have had the attendance that you think they should have. I think during this crazy 2 years, while we got Zoom going, while we figured out how to do it, everyone needs a little bit of leeway, because we couldn't all carry on, in the middle of March 2020, things just suddenly shut down and we all had to regroup. So anyone who's managed to do this, I give them a medal, and I give you a medal as the Board of Alders for carrying on. It's quite remarkable. So that's what I will say about that. And I want to say that I was at the City Plan Commission meetings about Wheeler Street. There were 3 of them. The first was 4 hours. The second was 4 hours. The third was 3 hours. That was just deliberation. So when you're at those meetings, and at EAC meetings, you can see all the other people who are there. At City Plan Commission meetings, you have no idea who's there except for the commissioners. It's very intimidating. We get online, we testify, and members of the Environmental Advisory Council who testify about issues. We are speaking up. They're very brave people. I just want you to know that they're brave people for getting on Zoom meetings, which are recorded, both our meetings and other commission meetings. So you're gonna have to just give everyone a little bit of leeway, because this is weird circumstances. You're not in a closed room with 30 people. You're being recorded. It is terrifying. It's like you're doing a performance for anyone who watches. And our meeting transcripts, the audio is put onto the city website, but video is put on things like the City Plan Commission with a transcript, a written transcript next to it. So there are people who really are not comfortable doing this. And for all of us who have put ourselves out there, it is quite something. I know it is for you too, but you were a little bit used to that because all Aldermanic meetings were already recorded. But some of us, and when you're talking about issues such as environmental issues, which are slightly controversial sometimes, it's quite difficult. Sometimes I consider the Environmental Advisory Council, the conscience of City Hall. And, we confer with all the elected officials and all the city hall staffers and with state officials and with federal officials. This is a big deal, a really big deal. So just, you're gonna have to give everyone who was involved in any boards and commissions these 2 years this much leeway and make a few exceptions. And I hope the Corporation Counsel's Office will allow you to perhaps, grant some leeway with the appointments and reappointments, knowing that was going on. Thank you. You're welcome. I don't mean to speak out of turn, but just,
But that's a good comment.
yes. So, and just two more things. So, garbage and recycling and waste in general is a big thing that the Environmental Advisory Council has been trying to deal with for years. We've been trying to learn about it mostly. You should know that the things you put in your recycling bin don't get recycled, most of them. The cardboard, because there is single stream recycling, the cardboard gets glass shards in it and then can't be reused. Only less than 10% of plastic has ever been recycled. And the fact that you don't know this is really sad, because we talk about this frequently at Environmental Advisory Council meetings, and we are not the Department of Public Works. They should be going to community management team meetings with flyers. They have stickers for every recycling bin about what should go in there, and the stickers did not make it to the recycling bins.
You were right.
They have a pile of them in their office, because I got them from my block, because I'm a block watch captain, and I handed them out to everyone, and I'm sure my neighbors didn't put them on their bins, but at least, good.
I was going on mine because I didn't see that.
Yes, well, apparently, some of the sanitation workers came and put them on some bins, but there was a question of paying them overtime to do it, so they didn't.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what? I don't blame them for having to, it's like, if you own a bin, a house or whatever, and you can't put a sticker on your bin, you're kind of pathetic. You ask me, and not very community minded. But I understand, we have, 40% renters or something, they have no idea what's what. And so, anyway, my advice to all of you is please vote for the American Rescue Plan funds to staff 2 people for a new city office of climate sustainability, so that the city can deal with some of these issues, because at this point, the Environmental Advisory Council is overwhelmed with issues, and a lot of them are costing you all a lot of money. And they're not COVID, but if you think those pesticides are not killing you, if you think all that plastic in the river is not killing you, I don't know. I think it is. I think the quality of life here could be a lot better if people paid a lot more attention. And I think we need some paid people to coordinate with our board that has an agenda that is now more than a page and takes a month to compile to deal with some of this.
Okay, it was my understanding that, and I could be wrong, but it was my understanding that it was, Rick Fontana who was supposed to take care of that.
Was supposed to take care of waste or all environmental issues?
No?
No.
Emergency management.
Oh,
We do not, unlike other cities, New Haven does not yet have an office of sustainability, climate sustainability. That's what we need. Other cities have it. And what is this?
That's before and after filter,
Ah.
water filter in my house.
Wow, yeah,
After only, I think it was 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
really. Yeah, we gotta fix that. We have so many issues, and they're all affecting public health, and they're all affecting public safety. And I really think, the Environmental Advisory Council takes things issue by issue and tries to work on them, like the water issue with Yale and too much water on the golf courses. And we just try to break it down into problems that we can solve and that people could save money on, that we can save the city money on, because, we don't, and we are not the kind of tree huggers who are not for progress. Do you know that Layton Industries, which is owned by a local guy named Jeff Layton who lives in Woodbridge, they do paving, and he has developed a method for reusing asphalt. He has a facility downtown, and I mean, these things are amazing. And, you know, this is going on in New Haven. We've got lots of stuff like this. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time. Thank you very, very much. And if you're gonna discuss Laura Sweet Taylor, we need her. Thanks.
No, her attendance was good too as well, so, yeah, so we're happy with your appointment, and like I said, you guys do a good task.
You and yours.
Any questions of Laura before she leaves?
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you. And please, if you know anybody else, especially young people who want to serve on our council, send them our way. Tell them to attend a meeting or two and see if they like it. Thank you.
Maybe you make this. That's for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Good to see you again.
Is there anyone here from the public that would like to testify? Is there anyone from the public who would like to testify this evening on the items before us? Anyone from the public who would like to testify on any items before us this evening? Seeing none.
Chair.
It has been moved in second discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Discussion on,
Chair, I move the item number 1.
Yep.
Ms. Garcia, the Environmental Advisory Council.
yes,
Second.
okay, then moved in seconded. Discussion. Yes, Alder and Jones.
I was pretty impressed by this young lady. She had a really good positive attitude. She seemed real interested. And you look at her paperwork and it reflects that. Her presentation was excellent. It's like she practiced all night. Eye contact was good. She included everybody in everything she said. I think she's, you know, with her attitude, her training and interest, I think she'd be good for this position.
Yes, Alder Hamilton.
I think she'd be an excellent fit for the Environmental Advisory Council, and also her resume speaks to what she studied in college, as well as her passion working in the community with people, and trying to bridge that language barrier for some folks. I think she'd be an excellent fit.
Yes, Alder.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, not to continue adding on, but yeah, I think I'm definitely impressed by not only how she spoke about the work she's already done at various local institutions in New Haven, but also her experience growing up here in New Haven, specifically in Fairhaven, where a lot of us know of the issue there. And yeah, I mean, one, we continue encouraging young people and giving young people the opportunity to commission. I think this is a reputation. Her resume definitely speaks for herself, and yeah, that's all I like that.
Thank you. And I also echo all the sentiments of my colleagues as well. She got me there, besides the environmental council. Maybe when I retire. Yes, seeing, is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Would you like to make a motion? First, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and opposed, the motion carries. Thank you, Alder Antunes, for reminding me of that.
Madam Chair, I move item number 2. The appointment of Iris Kaminsky to the Environmental Advisory Council. Second.
That's been moved in second discussion. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
They need her.
Yes.
She's an asset to them already. So I would like to see that continue, and I am in support of her reappointment to the Environmental Advisory Council.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, the matter carries. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move item 3, the appointment of Oscar Ariel Morano to the Commission on Equal Opportunity.
There's a second. Moved in second, discussion. Yes, Alderman.
Madam Chair, since this is a first-time appointment and this is a no-show, I can't see approving that appointment at this particular time, and suggest maybe we should withdraw this item.
Yes, Alderman Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with all the entrants, because he did not appear. I would like to get a sense from him personally, you know, I mean, what's your thought about the commission? Are you, you know what I mean? Get an idea from him, personally, individually, to hear. I would not like to just, us go through it. We have to hear from him. So I'm in agreement with giving him leave to withdraw until he appears in front.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, leave to withdraw, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, the motion carries. Alderman.
Madam Chair, if I may, just to be a little bit more expedient here, items number 4 and items number 6, I'd like to move both of those items for leave to withdraw because neither people have shown up tonight for their.
Yes, moved and seconded, discussion. Yes, Alderman Rodriguez.
If I may bring to your attention something very important, on page 19 of our documentation, you'll find that the appointment of Ms. Joy, so sorry, Ms. Joy Gary, here it says that it's replacing Ms. Leslie Ratcliffe. Ms. Leslie Ratcliffe is a constituent of mine on Ward 4, and Ms. Ratcliffe is currently chair of the City Planning Commission. She's been working very hard. Her attendance is great. And up to a week ago, I had no indication that she was going to be replaced. I do know that this committee has asked that we receive letters letting us know when there's going to be an appointment in our board. But I have received nothing, no correspondence as to her being replaced. She has demonstrated an interest of continuing to pursue the position that she currently has. There is staff is present, and I just like to note that for the record. Yes, Ms. Leslie Bradford, she's being replaced, and Ms. Leslie Bradford is currently the chair, and she was not aware that she was going to be replaced. And she has demonstrated the interest she would like to pursue. Since this individual did not show, I would like to, if it's possible, if this can be revisited by the mayor's office. Or that we consider withdrawal at this time.
I would like to call staff of Montalvo to the table so she can further discuss this item with us.
Just to remind you, the public hearing.
Yeah, with the city staff, they're giving us advice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on this issue.
Name and address for the record, please.
Name and address, Barbara Montalvo, address is 25 Evelyn Road, Derby, Connecticut, 06418. Okay. Now, I was under the understanding that Ms. Radcliffe had her term expire and that the mayor would like to ask for her expertise on another board or commission. I was told to proceed with the paperwork for Ms. Gary, and I believe there might have been a miscommunication, of which I had already reached out, spoken with Ms. Gary via telephone, because I do not have an email address for her. And Ms. Radcliffe. And Ms. Radcliffe understands that the mayor had wanted to move her elsewhere and is going to have a conversation with the mayor about that. And as far as Ms. Gary, she was simply told she was being appointed. She was not being told that she was replacing a specific individual. That information usually only is portrayed directly to the board in the body of the order. And if that is something that you as the committee and then the board choose to move forward, that is within your power. If you choose to withdraw, if that is within your power. The mayor simply wanted to utilize Ms. Radcliffe's city plan experience on another board or commission in the near future, in which he is still considering which one is the one that he wants to move her to. And I understand from her conversation with me directly this evening that she will be reaching out to just confirm her side of her thoughts on this being moved off of this commission, so she still feels she wants to do good work on city plan versus the idea that the mayor has, where he feels she can do good work on a different board or commission. And then at that point, they can come to a happy understanding of where they would like Ms. Radcliffe to go in the future. I hope this information is helpful. Are there any questions?
The only question that I had was that I saw that, your, ex-chair is also leaving because he has 9 years.
He's turned out, correct?
And it's surprising to me that it's been over 9 years and he's still sitting there. But
We're trying to move him elsewhere.
Okay.
So once he submits the paperwork for, once we have a replacement, we will move them into that spot. If at this time the mayor chooses to change his mind as to where he would like to fit this new appointment in, if you move forward with Ms. Gary, then at that point, I will communicate that information. But at the time that Ms. Gary's paperwork arrived and I was to work on it, she was to replace Ms. Radcliffe. So if there was a mistake, it's mine, and I will rectify it with the board as quickly as that's made clear.
So it's the information provided by the staff is helpful. Ms. Radcliffe has indicated strong interest in remaining on city plan. And Ms. Radcliffe was under the understanding as chair of city planning that there would be, Ms. Gary would be considered for a new an appointment that needed to be filled on that committee. Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
April 27th, May 27th, June. It's gonna be moved to withdraw. It has to be because she didn't show up.
There's a motion to give on the table to give number 4 and 6 week withdrawal.
Okay. So, yes, and, I would like.
For
Seconded discussions.
Yeah. So, so my understanding is, yes, that Joy, it was in minute information for us, so that she would be replacing Radcliffe, but not as chair. It wasn't intended that she would be replacing her as chair. She would just be replacing the term, her term, because she needed to leave. So the time limit is what we're concerned about, not that she's chair, because she wouldn't automatically become chair. Joy would never become chair unless she's voted in by the committee.
I believe that, Madam Chair, I believe we understand that she is going to be replaced in terms of her appointment.
Yes. Yes. So, yes, Joy and,
Sean Busty.
John Busby, both of those are going to be moved to withdraw.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any against? No. Those two items are getting moved to withdraw, item 6 and number 4.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move item 5, appointment of Carl Goldfield to full commission. The city plan commission from a alternate. My motion is that we do not approve that change.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Yes, Alderman Jones.
Madam Chair, in listening to Mr. Goldfield, and it seems like his interest really wasn't there. I mean, he didn't go to, seems many meetings, he was unsure of what transpired. He said it was only called, he would go and he was called. And it seems to me that you would have to be more up on what's going on in the committee. Not only each individual item, but how the committee is run, how it functions, in order to be an effective member. He didn't seem to have that interest or even show that in the past. So I don't think he's great for moving up. Maybe he can spend a little bit more time in all that and throw himself into the position. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, Alder Hamilton.
I agree with all the answers. It seemed like he was invested. You know, when you call him, he'll show up.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to have a little more passion and be a little more invested in that, just so.
I'll just echo that. I mean, I think, wow, his description of role of an alternate may have been accurate. I think there's many other folks that we've discussed today who were alternates or not alternates, not outside of the commission, but excellent attendance records and have very good ideas of what's going on in the respective commission. So, you know, I just like to echo that. I think that and agree with the colleague. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Just for clarification, just to make sure I'm understanding you correct, so you're voting now to give his appointment to move him from an alternate to a regular member, leave to withdraw,
No,
but
no, we're
We're denying
denying the appointment to a regular member.
you're okay with him staying as an alternate?
Yes.
Because it has to be leave to withdraw, approved.
Oh, those are the only options, approve or leave to withdraw?
Yeah.
So then we're giving it leave to withdraw, because we're not
But
voting
with the stipulation that you're okay with him continuing to serve.
as an
As
alternate.
yes.
Well, wasn't, his term wasn't over as an
No.
alternate. So
His
he
term
would
was
just
not over.
remain there. We can turn down the appointment to move up. Deny the appointment to move up, doesn't have to go to leave to withdraw.
Yes.
Right.
We deny it, then the mayor can
Yeah.
appoint somebody else.
We deny it.
Yeah, that would be leave to withdraw.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going through my head what options I have in the software.
And I stopped the recording because I would like to say something, and I think all the families feel the same way I do. Alder Cofield is very arrogant, and when he sits on the committee, he talks down to people like they're stupid. And so I take very much offense to that, because people are there voicing their opinions and concerns, and they may not have all the technical expertise of an attorney, but come on, I mean, be empathetic to, they're volunteers, and they're there to do a job. And so everybody volunteers their time. Well,
Folks are lay people, you
yeah,
know, that are just, like I just say, volunteer and should be treated, you might not have a master's,
right.
but you're still willing and able to participate, volunteer, give, you know, feedback and opinion. But people should look down on you like, oh, well, you don't know enough, or you're just not up there educationally, so you shouldn't, you know, I don't like.
He was a board of alders.
I remember when he was a board of alderman.
And-
He was very rude and condescending to a lot of folks.
Yes. And we have not, you don't.
Well,
Yes,
thank you, thank you.
Alder Rodriguez.
I'd just like to talk a little bit about the city plan commission. The city plan commission.
So should it be on
is
record?
very young.
It should,
Yes.
okay, hold on.
So we're in the world where.
No.
So that means
Okay, it's important also, the city plan commission is a very detailed, a very, very delicate committee. It deals with all of our development, all the new projects coming aboard. And we have a lot of people come to the city planning, a lot of our constituents, residents from the city, but especially when there's something of interest to them. So it becomes significant that all individuals that are participating in taking care of this committee, that they work together. And I've seen this in full action, this committee, the documentation, as was indicated by our appointment and in the environment, committee, in terms of the video recordings and media, it's tremendously, it's something, very intense sometimes. Those meetings are very, very intense. Thank you.
Thank you.
He also, someone made a comment, I don't know if it was you, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
about the all American waste. And the first thing he said was, oh, I didn't have time to go. So, I mean, what is it for somebody who wants to be moved from alternate to permanent? Moved, seconded, and discussed.
Okay, all in favor of withdrawing Mr. Carl Barfield's nomination to yeah, alternate to regular is a need to withdraw. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No one is against. Okay, then motion passed.
Madam Chair, I move item 7, appointment of Isaiah Miranda to the Board of Police Commissioners.
Second. For second.
Second.
Okay, as the moving second discussion. Yes, Alderman Jones.
Madam Chair, it's a reappointment. He didn't have to appear before this board. I can tell you from going to almost every police commission meeting, he is pretty much always there. And he was one of the few commissioners, new commissioners, in the last appointment that was very receptive of the new ordinance regarding the training for police commissioners. He went to that, he was receptive, and he seems to do a good job. He serves on committees. So I think it's good. Reappointment.
Next further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
This appointment, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed? No, the motion carries.
Madam Chair, item number 8, the reappointment of Laura N. Pittman to the Commission on Aging.
As the moving second discussion. Yes, Alderman.
Very briefly, I've had some of my constituents apply for and serve on this particular commission. It had the same complaint that even before COVID came, there were no meetings or very few meetings if ever. And that's something that's important to this board overall. So we need some participation from the youth side for them to get involved. I mean, here's a person who's volunteered their time and for 2 years hasn't heard anything from that commission. Even to say, hello, welcome aboard or
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think we should reappoint her. However, I think this committee or this board needs to make some movement toward some of these commissions that don't meet regularly. And there's people who volunteer for these things, and there's no sense in having a board or commission that doesn't function.
Right.
So I'm in favor of the reappointment with those side comments.
Okay, staff would like to make a comment.
I was going to ask, based on your previous discussion, I was going to recommend that you amend this to make it an appointment. And then I'll put documentation in the system. So for 9 years starts from when this is passed.
Yes. I agree with that. If that's okay with the committee that will amend it. Because they didn't meet with 2 years.
Yes, they didn't meet at all.
I'll make that friendly amendment.
We're speaking with Ms. Pittman, right?
Yes.
So I would like to second the amendment.
Say six.
Second.
Discussion.
All right, so the motion has been amended to make her, Ms. Pittman, a appointment as opposed to a reappointment, because there have been no meetings at all that, of the commission.
And that year one would be considered
Right now.
as of 2022. Once it's approved by the Board of Alderman.
Yeah, I do understand. I would like to also make a comment, what you said about, the ability for this youth commission, they must meet. You know, I think with everything that's going on in our city, the youth commission is very crucial. And if they're not meeting, there's a problem there. They have to, I would recommend that, we reach out to the chair to get a sense of what is the issue, why they cannot meet at any point.
How are
They
you?
have to-
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here.
that's me.
Good.
They have to.
I spoke during the meeting briefly with Karen Santana.
Okay,
Santana,
thank,
about that very point. If we could hold a workshop.
All
at
right,
some
thank you
point
very
and
much.
bring This chair or vice chair. And discuss it. You know, it's important to the board and like it's been a call.
no, that,
we
no,
move on with
not
activities and concerns for our young people. Yes.
yep, no, I'll talk to
Very
you
important
after.
also, maybe when we do that workshop, I can invite all the commissioners of that youth commission, simply because, it's crucial. This commission is crucial at this time, especially when we have, our budget has, impacted the youth departments, much more effectively this year, because there are definite things that we would like to see that are being accomplished through that department, in reference to our services for our youth in the city and related.
Other related use activities, conferences and things.
And also for the share,
Yeah.
if I may,
Yeah, go ahead. Alder
if I may, if I we put in some sort of request to the mayor's office that they please review the commissions, and if they're not active, consider what is going on. Maybe we need some new individuals on the commission. But I think that there's supposed to be a responsibility that we look at all of our commissions, that they're functioning and that they are thriving. And if they're not thriving and they're not meeting or they don't have what they need, then we should be finding ways to supplement and to help them. After all, they're volunteers in all their areas of specialty. We have like, I think, 53 commissions.
Something like that, yeah.
And so they do a lot of work for us. So that's very significant. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I would like to also, ask, staff that they request a meeting, a workshop with, youth commission. Whoever's still on the youth commission and whoever the chair is. And they come before us at one of our next meetings and to explain the reason why they have not met. And, we understand COVID, but they could have done Zoom meetings and other ways that, other committees have done. So, we need to figure out, Board of Alders, this is our commitment to our youth. And it's one of our items that we, work on each and every day for our agenda item. And so we need to ensure that our youth commission is intact and that they are functioning. And if it's not functioning, we need to help out. Thank you. And, any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Any objections? No. All in favor, the matter is passed.
Madam Chair, I move item number 9, reappointment of Joel Fishman to the Police Commission, or to the Police Commission. I can't make words. The Peace Commission.
Has been moved and seconded, discussion. That's all the answers.
Madam Chair, I understand the problem that was raised to us by Ms. Fishman. And my thought was, if we give it leave to withdraw, then that allows them time to make the change she's concerned about in leadership there. And that period of time, the mayor can come up with another submission. Because according to charter, you're allowed to stay on until the position is filled.
Right.
So we covered in that sense, we were able to withdraw to time to submit another name, and in the meantime, she could work on getting a person in line.
Right, the person, yeah, in line to fill the chairperson slot. I'm in agreement with all their actions.
Yes, Madam Chair, in reference to Ms. Fishman's
I'd like to say that I have gone to a number of peace commission activities and functions, and Ms. Fishman has always been present. She takes this work at heart. So I would like to see her continue her presence. I don't know, what her primary issue was, and I apologize. But definitely, I would hate to see her leave this commission.
Yes,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I think for me in this situation, here, Ms. Fishman, taking into account the stipulations that we have as a committee, Aldermanic Affairs Committee, especially with regards to following charter. I was just sort of putting it out there for the record. I hope that this is the only situation that this has occurred with, or this happens to very few people, and as it happens frequently, I think it will be good to, as other things that we mentioned earlier, to evaluate and discuss, to double check and make sure that if there's anyone who has been served for 9 years or 8 years or approaching that or staff checks the records and make sure that we don't run into a similar problem in the future. For the sake of everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I think it's fortunate that we might have to withdraw on this item because of moving track of things. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you. And I agree with you. This has been an issue over a number of years, not just with, unfortunately, a lot of members don't understand that when they reach their 9-year limit, they can no longer be appointed to that committee, and they have to step off for a year, and be reappointed again after the year. And she was just looking for another 2 to 3 month extension so that she can groom someone to take her position. She still wants to be involved, which she can still be, but she just won't be legal a member of the committee. But she's always welcome to attend. I think that we do withdraw is the only decision that we can make at this point, and that will allow her to get a couple of months that she needs. Which staff can relate to her so that she understands that she has a few months to, until the mayor reappoints someone to that position. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, no. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move items 10 and 11 together. They're both the same. Environmental Advisory Council. Those people are excellent at what they do and the time they serve on there. I would,
Second.
It's been moved to second discussion. Here's all the mention.
thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Khan has just been every place. She's great, and she's a good driver. I've seen her at many different things, whether it's watching on Zoom or at some events here and there. So I think she's perfect for the job, and we hope her 9 years is not coming up anytime soon. And Florentine Taylor, I know her personally, I've seen her, she even walks to meetings. You know, she doesn't care, whatever weather, I can offer to give her a ride sometimes. No, I won't. She goes to all the meetings that she involved in. And she participates, she knows what she's doing, she acts appropriately. And I'm sure Laura Connell is a great asset to the commission. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, Alderman.
Thank you, Chair Santana. Ms. Khan and Ms. Taylor are both very dedicated to what they do, you know, and how they support the Environment Advisory Council. And they're key, essential to the council, and I am in favor of them being reappointed to their positions. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, Alderman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to finally quickly add on here, I think it's excellent that both Ms. Khan and Ms. Taylor have done great work to bring young people to Garcia, we discussed earlier. It just also shows the drive and passion that they have for those kind of work and sharing that kind of work, the space with other folks, especially young folks. So fully support that with both of them. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And no opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. And before we ask for adjournment, I'd like to remind staff, yes, on the record, that, staff needs to, it appears that from Ed Madison's, comments that he was unaware that there were 9-year limits. Joel was unaware that there were 9-year limits. And some have been exceeded. So some are still sitting on those committees. I know in the past that if it's a reappointment or appointment, they can sit there until a new appointment has been made. But when they're 9 years, they really shouldn't be sitting in that capacity any longer. And so I want you to make sure that we are communicating that information way in advance so that they know that their time limit is coming. And so not like just receive a letter that it turned out, appointment. So yes, let them know, give them a call, and let them know that the term limit is coming so that they can prepare themselves for whatever they want to do next. Sit on another commission or whatever. Another thing that I would like to ask is to ensure that we are receiving the committee minutes with attendance. And they are uploaded to the city's website. Now, I don't know who receives them or how they're supposed to be received in what format. But I would like staff to give us, the next time we meet with the youth council, to have that understanding so that we understand how this process is to be done, so that we don't have to ask the question again, because I'm not sure how that is. I know they're supposed to take attendance, they're supposed to send it when they appoint someone, but I know that a lot of committees and commissions have already been uploading their YouTube video or agenda. I'm not sure what they're uploading, but I see something is uploaded under the boards and commissions. So I would like to ensure that they remind all the chairs of each of those commissions that they are to do that going forward. And if they submit a name for appointment or reappointment that has no attendance and no meeting minutes, they're not going to be appointed. To make it clear. Anything else that you guys can think of? Yes, all the issues.
I think that we have behalf of this committee, maybe it's one of the things we should include in our interview process, to remind the applicants that if they win the position, then they have a 9-year lifespan, maximum of 1 year. So we have to take a certain amount of responsibility on ourselves.
Yes, I think,
A suggestion could be that any person that's chairing a board or commission, and they're getting close to the time when their time is expiring, that last year, you, administration should be saying, well, hey, Misty Mazo, your time is coming up. This is your last year that you can sit on, your particular board or commission. Giving them the, advance notice that your time is coming to an end. Well, you will have to step off and give someone else the opportunity to serve. You know what I mean? I think it's important that you give folks the advance notice, well in advance, so they are aware.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can't last minute people say, oh, your time is up and you need to get off. But some of these because as a chairperson, it's a crucial position that you are counting on, relying on to do these things. You know what I mean? And you can't just hop out of being the chair unless you have a good vice chair that can slide into that spot. You know what I mean? It's not so easy. So with that being said, that's a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. One last question. I don't know if also within, I know letters that usually sent out to folks who are being appointed or reappointed have an expiration date, but I think it would be great if for, the staff to find a way to include that stipulation that if you want to serve, on this commission for 9 years, most of all, for a year, for a year after those 9 years, or something like along those lines, that way. It's in writing, the term expiration date is in writing already, but given that this is a problem that folks in the committee have seen already, have seen today, just trying to suggest a way that some colleagues have, just suggest a way that we can make this not an issue or limit the amount of issues we have. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you for those comments, and I do want to say, the reason why I thought was reading off the call was that, Alderman Dussalar was calling me from San Francisco to let me know that he couldn't be at the meeting tonight. So I kept sending it to decline, but he kept calling, so I thought it was an emergency. I didn't know who it was, so I'm sorry, I thought I had to take it. But normally this doesn't happen, I'm usually, but when somebody calls you 3 or 4 times, you start to wonder if it's an emergency or not, so that number. So, I apologize for that, but that was the reason why, Alderman Dussalar couldn't be here this evening. So that was just to let, for the record. And I thank, the committee for their comments and suggestions this evening, because our youth are at stake here, and until we can resolve this issue with the youth department, not the youth department, youth commission, to get them on board and to have a person that would be responsible for ensuring that that chair is doing their job. I know in the past that the prior youth director was dictating what the commission should be doing, and that's not their job. The director should not be dictating what the youth commission should be doing. It's the youth commission should be dictating to the youth committee what they should be doing and tasking to ensure that they're beneficial and working together. So it's to give them ideas. So if you read the history under the charter, that's what it stipulates. It's not the other way around. So just to make it clear as well. So, but I thank everyone's comments this evening. They were all well worthwhile. And candidates that did come before us this evening were fantastic. And I wish them well in their new endeavors on their committees that they undertaken. Thank you.
Madam Chair, move to adjourn the meeting.
Has been moved in second discussion, no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.